lucky.
I would love to play a Wicked next turn. Thank you for asking. Appreciate you, Brad. Yes, I think. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, we're cooking. We're cooking. This is cheating. Certainly feels like it. Holy mommy! I have unlimited power. I'll do it again, I swear. I don't think I want an extra turn, right? I think it's just this. Someone asked, what's with the border effect of your cards? So those are the cards that are going to turn into zombies because they're impacted by the zombie Galacti here. All right. I'll take exactly average. So all of our green lovelies are gonna turn into 22 power zombies. So all of the cards everywhere turn into Galacti, even the face down one. So this face down Gwenpool is going to turn into a Galacti before she reveals. What about in the deck? In the deck too, yes. All your cards everywhere that are zombie Galacti infected turn into zombie Galacti with his power.
Victory.
The infection is coming.
Right on time.
This deck is fine until someone plays Maelstrom Pulse. That's a deep cut, gamer. That is a deep cut.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
we'll see how our danger room training goes here. Live! Live! Look at our lovelies living, chat. Alright, and then we need to draw Wog or Gwenpool. We draw Wog or Gwenpool, we'll get set up for a real big one.
What a game!
Well, that's rigged.
All systems go.
Okay, I mean that's a 22 power zombie Galacti again, yeah. Holy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Do Domino and Sarah keep their buffs? They do not. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. It's a good question, actually. My expectation would be no.
Enough said,
Boop. The dead walk among us. Zombie, zombie, zombie. Hey, hey. The old cranberry Galactus, if you would.
Always lucky.
Edge. Alright, we find a Gwenpool next turn. We get to go Wog, Gwenpool into Shuri. Although I suppose we could already Wog Shuri into a 20-pointer, yeah? I don't think I want to play for the throne room because they could easily outscale me there, and I think they have a hard time winning in the other spots. With a turn 7, do we need to go now? Yeah, I think so. Because if I top deck a zombie Galacti, I could just play a 20 power Galacti on the right on turn 7 if it's good enough. I guess it's technically slightly worse for us when we draw this, because now I can't Gwen pull this in addition to Shuriing it, but we're only 1 in 4 to draw this, so I don't think it's worth playing to that out. Yeah, like now just like look real smart, not competing for the throne room, right? How big is Null? This blew up 32 points worth of things. Plus they killmongered some stuff. Is Null big enough to win middle? They're down 40. They're down 46 there, yeah? They're down less over here.
Enough said, bub. Victory.
Won my flip. Won my flip. Well then, that's how you say fairly promising. I think I definitely want to play some more with this, but it's also a quarter to noon here in the cornfield, so I'd like to run and grab some lunch. I will have some adverts, and then we're going to play some more of this when we get back. Thanks for bringing out to a corner. We're going to be snapping all afternoon. If you're watching on the YouTube side, you enjoy the daily content, don't forget to tap the like button. I appreciate the folks that have done that already today. Looked very good against a deck with no tech cards or location change. Whoa, 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 whoa. Only thing you need to know about the current deck we're playing is that we currently have a 100% win rate, okay? Anybody telling you anything else is delivering fake news. And if we lose this game, Not My Dance is a brutal stream sniper, so it doesn't count.
Right on time.
I mean, this looks pretty good, yeah? Haven't been into a Hoagland stream since the Magic days. What's going on, Jeremiah? Insanity of the, you know, current outside world aside, my personal life's doing pretty well. My wife and I added a third child to our lineup. We've got a beautiful baby girl who's now not so much a baby. She's 5.5. The boys are doing great. Marvel Snap is just like genuinely the best digital card game I've ever touched. It's quite good at what it does. Losing to the Killmonger sucks. We are gonna be outpointed anyways, right? A little bit shy there. From a business perspective, the first 2 years of Snap were the 2 best years of content I ever did. Probably both from a personal enjoyment and from a numbers perspective in terms of revenue. This third year is down a little bit as the game has aged, but it's still pretty comparable to where we were at with Magic when I bailed out. And I like the gameplay significantly more, which is worth its weight.
What are the odds?
You seem much less depressed from the 6 minutes I've watched so far. I was really unhappy with Magic the Gathering at the end of my time playing it. Deeply so. Was not enjoying that game remotely. Think it's just this. I stopped playing Snap about a year ago and considering getting back in, but it feels hard to keep up after you've fallen behind uncardedly. See, I would actually completely disagree with that, Music of Death. It's one of the reasons why I think Snap is one of the best digital card games you can play. With Jeremiah here, they'll understand this reference as an old Magic player. Marvel Snap has wholly and fully achieved what Modern used to do for Magic the Gathering, which is we have this metagame where they add new cards that are interesting, but you can keep playing the same cards you loved playing for a long time. They don't balance or add new things via intense power creep. Oh, I needed Zombie Galacti there. Or Shuri, that's so sad. Should we double up Fastos? Yeah, maybe. I guess that would make Zombie Galacti better. Oh, wow. I wasn't thinking about Fastos being able to make this cheaper along with the Zabu. I totally could have Gwen pulled somewhere else and then doubled this here. Oh, they just don't have it. Well, that's great for us. I could have won this with better sequencing without them having it, but yeah. Things to think about. This deck's kind of neat. It's got some interesting lines.
Always lucky.
The last time I was spending some time on this channel, you were splitting your time between Pocket and Snap. Has Pocket been fleshed out? Yeah, I'm still doing like variety stuff. Like we've been playing some Once Upon a Galaxy. And I've been doing like some Genshin Impact and DC Dark Legion stuff on stream, so we're not 100% Snap, but Pokemon's pretty much fully out of my system at this point. Man, Pokemon playing Marvel Snap has made it hard to enjoy other card games because Marvel Snap really hammers home that other card games could just like do things better if they actually wanted to. It's like Snap just has such good game balance, and Pokemon had brutal power creep and poor game balance.
Rest in peace.
Man, I think we're dead again. Great Web might be able to save us. A Destroy still a Pub Stomp deck, or has it shifted? Destroy is a really solid, like, B, maybe B plus tier deck. It got one new card, Moira X, that really breathed some solid life into it. So our draw, not stellar, but there's also kind of clunky too. How about dipping your toe into Shadowverse again? Shadowverse kind of suffers from the same thing I'm talking about now. Shadowverse's game balance is deeply disappointing. And it just doesn't really have good deck building depth. I think if Shadowverse had better game balance, I could overlook the lack of deck building depth. But as someone who likes to play a lot of different decks, most Shadowverse decks are built by their design team and only have like a couple of flex slots. And that's another thing Snap has going for it, why it's just one of the best card games in my opinion, is I really wasn't expecting it when it was first introduced, this like 12 card singleton game, but like Snap really is just one of the best deck builders that's ever existed. The fact that like you can mix and match any amount of cards like Magic really helps a lot, but then you pair that with really good game balance too. Like, you know, there's like 50 or 60 different decks you can play in Marvel Snap and feel reasonable about them. And like, that's just unheard of in other games. The Hearthstone class style system that Shadowverse uses leads to very, very narrow deck building decisions on average.
What are the odds?
The lack of deck building depth in Shadowverse also honestly makes it even more offensive that their game balance is poor. Because the fact that their decks are mostly like built in the lab by the dev team should make it easier for them to balance their game, not harder. Yes, the opponent gets to see which cards have the zombie effect on them. Do I do this, and then next turn, I'm guaranteed to know whether or not this is Wong or Gwenpool? I think so. Mobius. It doesn't matter, chat. I'm just adding zombie cards to the board. As long as they don't Cosmo me. I have Wicked Energy and White Hot Room Energy. So next turn I have +5 energy. So next turn I get to go Shuri into Zombie Galacti on Wong. I get Alliance tier 2. I think we beat that, yeah. Things that was not alive.
Victory.
Zombie! 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 I honestly would recommend getting zombie cards over Herbie for Activate Surfer, Marchu. I think you could budget Herbie out and Activate Surfer without it, and the zombie cards can go into so many different decks. I also think the Zombie Giant Man package is super fun. It's one of my favorite things to do in SAP right now, so I'm a little biased. The Activate Surfer is also fun, but just like there's so many different ways you can build around the zombie package.
Victory.
Right on time.
Playing Cerebro 2 without Storm. I mean, they're playing it with Storm. Wowza. We have the power. Ooh. Do I need another turn? I don't think I need another turn, right? This also plays around Red Guardian. Which is nice. Goose could have gotten us. Could have been cooked by Goose. So these are 28 power Galacti. This will be 56, 64, 66 over here. This deck seeming surprisingly functional so far.
Always lucky.
These are not locations that are particularly kind to my opponent's deck here. Gotta get rid of this one even with the Sarah, I think.
Opponent snapped.
Wicked middle. They're not going to play anything middle, chat, or they lose their Cerebro bonus. I need to draw Galacti this turn. I think that means we're dead, yeah.
Wind, aid my hand.
Yeah, I want to play infinite games against them. Just go next. Can we buff Storm to a 3/3, please? Let's Quicks over the right here because they're less likely to play on the right. And then we'll add him into this path. Get drawing some cards here, hopefully. Well, shoot.
Right on time.
Need to draw our card regardless. Like your finest Fastos, please. Yep. for Fastos or Magic? Bricked on the Wicked Energy, unfortunately. We can technically Galacta this game. We could Gwenpool into Sarah into Galacta. I do have a lot of Infected on the board. Okay. And this lets me Magic into Shuri Galacti. No. Magic lets my Galacti be bigger still. Where am I putting her? You're sure he left. Well, these are both gonna turn into 10 power things, and the gore is actually gonna shrink, yeah? Because a bunch of my on reveals are gonna disappear here. Oh, Galacti isn't on reveal. Oh, I'm dumb. We're super cooked. That's fine. I don't want to play against them anymore anyways. My brain had the opposite. Got it. The good news is it didn't matter where we put our cards. We were dead either way. Yeah, in my brain, this was not an unreveal. We don't have all our zombie Galacti playlines given to the memory yet. You think Prowler can make a deck full of skills work? I just like, what's the upside to doing that? Like Nicolas Cage is your only payoff? Don't ask yourself if you can, ask yourself if you should. Cage Nick Scratch, whoever he is. You know, whatever his name is. Something Wiccan comes this way.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Oh, that's unfortunate for... It's unfortunate for Adam. All right, we're definitely coming back down to reality with the back half of these games. Our first half hour with this deck was looking really smooth and impressive. This second round, very much not so. It's, you know, kind of the classical problem. I suppose we would have won this game if the Stegron would have hit the Wiccan here instead of the Sarah. If we win that Stegron 50-50, we come out ahead of the right. I haven't played Marvel Snap in like 2 years. How easy or difficult is it to get back into without spending money? So it depends on what you mean by get back into. If you mean, can I have every single card that's released for the last 2 years instantaneously without spending any money? The answer is no. If you mean, can I play different decks and experience a variety of gameplay and climb to the top of the ladder without spending money and get specific cards that I want to play with, then yes. The answer is yes, you could absolutely do that. So I would say one of Marvel Snap's greatest strengths as a game 3 years later is that it's easily one of the best balanced live service games you're ever going to play. They do a good job of designing new, interesting cards that do different things as opposed to just power creeping their game. So you can have new things that are fun to poke at and explore, but you can still keep playing the older things and find competitive success with them without having to have everything. That's the latest and shiniest. If you're looking for some decks idea and something that really hammers home, I think how good Marvel Snap is in terms of games and cards you can play. Here's a video I posted earlier this year breaking down 50 plus proven archetypes that Snap has that are reasonably competitive depending on the day of the week. The number one thing I like to point out to be aware of for players who are coming back is that all Marvel Snap deck data and like best decks roundups are incredibly new card biased because content creators and people who have been playing the game for a long time tend to want to use the newest, shiniest things. And just because an older deck isn't represented in those roundups doesn't mean they're not competitive. It just means there aren't people playing them because they're not shiny and new. assume we're dead here. It's close. There's not big Galacti, wasn't very big. Yeah, the curve for this Wicked deck is weird because, like, Zabu can turn a 4 into a 3, and technically in the games where we draw Zabu and Adam Warlock, Quicksilver plus Domino could be a 3. So I think from a enabling Wicked perspective, this deck list has an appropriate number of 1, 2s, and 3s. The way it plays out. It's very, very unique mix of bottom end, but I think from a numbers perspective, it makes sense. Would like a free copy of Sarah, please. No, you don't want to? Come back.
Right on time.
Worlds. Left side will be our Wong path. Alright, we need a Shuri or a Gwenpool next turn.
Opponent snapped.
Oh, Adam's disappointing. I guess we'll Sarah here. But our Galacti is not going to be particularly large. Are they like a Surfer deck? I guess that would make sense. They're Surfer with Forge. These will count as created cards in the center, right? I'll end up at 7, so maybe we have a shot. I'm gaining 7 over here as well. Probably just dead to like a Sebastian Shaw Surfer stuff, but... Oh, I lose the Quicksilver to that. Then we lose the right. Sad. And I lose the bonus in the middle. Rude. I feel like, despite the disappointing end, I can still stamp exceeds expectations on this pile of cards. When things came together for us reasonably at the start, we popped off a decent amount. Definitely don't think the 5th point of power on this is earth-shattering. Second dinner was very standoffish in the language that they used about buffing this. They're like, a single point of power buff on this can equate to, you know, 6 or 7 extra points on the board. And while that's, like, technically correct, you're so behind with this card a lot of the time. The just big classic juice not worth the squeeze type problem in a lot of situations where, like, even when everything comes together, you're still only working with numbers that are comparable to what other combo decks that come together more frequently, I think, are able to end up putting out. Based on the cursory data glance post OTA, I think it won't be long until this card ends up at 6, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it ends up at 7 or something like that. When do you replace Gwenpool within this deck? You can't. Gwenpool's one of the 2 ways to make Zombie Galacti bigger in this deck. Between that and Shuri, you need Gwenpool. The deck already struggles to be competitive and consistent. You can't cut one of your key pieces. You mean they'll make the card a 6/7? No, they seem pretty. I feel like I'd be really surprised if they cut down its energy cost. I think we'll probably keep adding points of power to it until it does something more than it's currently doing.